Mr. Gurumurthy now joining us on Times Now, sir. Always a pleasure having you. Let me start by asking you the big question. Let's address the elephant in the room. Gen Z is the word that has currency. It's the buzzword, as they say. What is your understanding of Gen Z?
See, there is utter confusion in Indian media and Indian discourse about what is Gen Z. Gen Z is the digital literate or digital obsessed group, according to the Western classification of Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z, Gen Z. Actually, abroad, whether it is in Europe or America or Japan or developed countries, the Gen Z is supposed to have no interest in what is happening today. And they want to listen to music of 1980s, 70s, see films of those days, and look at the books of those days. This is Gen Z there. The Gen Z which the Western media and Indian media are trying to create in India is a Gen Z that rebels against the past. In fact, the Gen Z there is something which is embracing the past. But here they say this Gen Z is rebelling against the past, which is completely wrong. Actually, the Gen Z in India, which is estimated at 250 million people, and one half of the people who attended the Kumbh Mela were less than 30 years of age. Out of 7.2 crore people who went to Kashi Vishwanath temple in the last 3 years, 80% were less than 30 years. Whether it is the Kavariyas or people going to Yatra in different places, there are 10, 12 Yatras. 70-80% of them are Gen Z. 15% of the Gen Z are entrepreneurs today, which was 3% in the previous generation of the same age. And that is Gen Z India. Who are we talking as Gen Z? Those who have collected in thousands and with various criminal gangs and try to create disturbances in Delhi and provide opportunities for anti-nationals to create anti-national sentiments. Is it Gen Z? No. This five-star culture, celebrating in five-star hotel, living lavish life and residing abroad and coming back and going back, this is not Gen Z India.
Okay, Mr. Gurumurthy, I think, you run the risk of facing flack of, when you make comments like five-star hotel, etc., etc. I think they will turn around and tell you that, sir, what is wrong in going to a five-star hotel if you are not doing anything which is a criminal activity?
I am not saying it is a criminal activity. You don't represent the Gen Z. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, let me, ask you the broader political question. We've seen multiple outreach by the Prime Minister himself. He made videos, appealed to them that, we are here to address all your concerns, etc. As we speak today, Mohan Bhagwat is addressing the so-called Gen Zs in Mumbai. Rahul Gandhi has put out a post in which he says, "Ask me anything." Who do you think in the current political scheme of things actually or best represents the youth, the Gen Z?
You see, the disturbing elements of the same age group in metropolitan cities can create complications. And it is to that group the Prime Minister, Mohan Bhagwat and others are appealing. So they don't disregard this as Gen Z. But they are not Gen Z India. This is my case, and I have repeatedly put out evidence-based tweets and documents that Gen Z India is very different. It is a very small group which is getting support from outside, which is being projected as Gen Z. They are trying to create a Gen Z in India of the type which demonstrated in Delhi. It is not Gen Z India. This is my case.
Mr. Gurumurthy, if I can, my understanding of Gen Z, or what is the popular understanding of who is a Gen Z, is someone who was born after, I think, 1995 or 97.
97 to 2012, and that is the Gen Z I am talking about.
Yeah. So
That Gen Z, the statistics I have put out is that Gen Z, which is 25 crores and 50 crore of them go to temples. That means twice each person is going to temple. And 15% of them are entrepreneurs. Whereas that's 3% of them, of the previous gen of the same age. There is a 500% growth in the entrepreneurship of Gen Z. You look at the Gen Z, it is a small group in the
okay.
metropolitan towns and cities.
Then let me ask you this, sir. You would remember a post by the Congress party in which they said that the Gen Z wants a cool PM, and the Congress party declared that Rahul Gandhi is that cool PM. Their words, not mine.
I tell you, if I am going to reply to the Congress, Rahul Gandhi and Congress have been lying repeatedly for the last several years. And this is one of their lies. It's a propaganda lie. Tell me, what is the fact in it? What is the fact?
The Congress thinks Rahul Gandhi is cool.
They do not know. That is a different thing. What Rahul Gandhi is, all of us know. Do they know what is the number of Gen Z people in India? The sheer number. It is 250 million. And what are they talking about? If 250 million people revolt in India, there will be no country. Even if 10% of them revolt, there will be no country. There will be chaos. They are all doing their work. They are hardworking. In villages, the 40% was the Gen Z labor population. It has come down to 20% in the last 12 years.
Right.
And they have become operators of mechanical instruments. They are driving drones for agricultural operations.
Okay. Now, Mr. Gurumurthy, before we move on to FCRA and, the students' protest and the call for reservation hatao, I just have one quick question to ask, which is, what do you think of the government's outreach to the Cockroach Janata Party?
You see, the Cockroach Janata Party agitation turned suddenly violent between 7 to 11 a.m. on 21st. This requires probe. That would have meant, if the government had taken serious action, if it had resulted in 1 or 2 killings, it would have become a very major issue at the global level. So you have got to find out how all this happened in just 4 hours. And so the government had to tackle the situation in such a way. And of course, the government, the BJP government did well by crediting the cockroaches, who are like bubbles. They are not going to be sustainable political
But
force.
sir, if they can't sustain this, whatever you want to call it, froth, bubble, foam, for lack of a better word, why do you think that the government sent 2 ministers, deputed 2 of them to go and have a dialogue?
Because otherwise, you will be conceding Pradhan's victory to the Congress party. They denied the Congress party of the right to celebrate the victory.
Nothing more to it, sir.
It is strategic, actually. Okay. They would not have allowed the parliament to function anyway. So they wanted the parliament to function. Okay. So credit these guys and deny the credit to the Congress party is the strategy of the BJP. That is right.
Okay, now let's talk about the FCRA, sir. There's a lot of noise around it, and I want to, get to the heart of it. An American lawmaker showed the audacity to, meddle into our legislative business. He put out a post in which he said that this is an attack on the church, etc., attack on a religious denomination. And the opposition seems to, they are actually cheering this interference, intervention, whatever you want to call it.
So I will quote Swami Vivekananda, I will quote Mahatma Gandhi, I will quote Rajaji, I will quote many nationalists. Swami Vivekananda said, conversion means not a Hindu, not just going out of a Hindu pale, but adding one enemy more. This is the word. Mahatma Gandhi and Ambedkar said, conversion means denationalization. How are they going to answer this? Why should we answer the Americans? Conversion is wrong. That conversion is wrong is something which great national leaders about which no question can be raised, they have said that. Can the Congress deny what Mahatma Gandhi said, what Rajaji said, what Ambedkar said, or what Vivekananda said? Why should I answer the American senator? Who is he?
You're right, and there is no truth to it that this is an attack or assault on one faith. Now, the
It is
government
an
is...
assault on Vivekananda. It is an assault on Mahatma Gandhi. It is an assault on Ambedkar. It is an assault on Rajaji. I put it like that. You call all these, if you say the American senator is right, you call all these people wrong, all these great men wrong.
Right. Now, Mr. Gurumurthy, as you must have read, seen and heard, there is now a campaign, so to say, that talks about looking at the kind of reservation that we have. They say revise the quota, have a look at it. Why should merit be, made to suffer because of mindless reservation? There's a campaign that says reservation hatao. What is your view on it, sir?
You see, reservation is a problem which has been mishandled from day one. Actually, reservation will become meaningless in the next 5 to 7 years because we are not producing employable graduates. So we need more skills. The world needs 80 million skilled hands, which except India, no other country can supply. But you are not producing skills through reservation. So a whole paradigm shift is taking place. In fact, skill building will become more important, which has nothing to do with reservation. It is universal. It is only admission into colleges and schools. I mean, I'm not going into jobs.
Right.
This is reservation. This is losing sheen. Actually, many people do not know that roadside automobile mechanic knows more automobile engineering than engineering graduate. You know, the kind of studies which have been made by
Right.
different institutions, they expose that 67% of your graduates, whether they have come through reservation or general route, they are incapable of measuring up to the skill needs of the economy and the country and the world.
I would like to agree with you, Mr. Gurumurthy, but my question is this, the ease with which you can say this on national television, which political party or which political leader in the country will dare to say all of this about reservation? You are saying it will not be relevant in the next 5, 7 years. Can any political party, afford to say something as simple as this, as logical as this?
You see, it is not, nothing needs to be told. It is being realized. I'll tell you, I have been witness to pro-reservation agitations in Tamil Nadu and anti-reservation agitations when the Mandal reservations came. We were witnesses to both. The Mandal agitation failed. Why? Because of electoral politics. It is not that anti-mental agitation was irrational. It was not so. But still, so long as vote bank politics is there, reservation will lost. Reservation will lose sheen only when the education system itself is incapable of producing skill, which is happening. So no government will be able to see. I see skills being developed outside institutions much more.
No, I agree with you there, sir, completely. But my point is very simply this. You're talking about the government taking note of this. But we must understand, and I know that you do, I'm talking about the general public, that the government is run by a political party or group of political parties, and political parties survive on votes. So which political party will take this risk?
Nobody is going to take the risk. Everybody will postpone. Mrs. Gandhi postponed Mandal Commission first. Then Rajiv Gandhi postponed Mandal Commission. Then VP Singh announced Mandal Commission. And then the Mandal Commission, the percentage was restricted as compared to Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Karnataka, Kerala. That matter is still going on. See, this tussle is going to be there between merit and reservations because of the vote bank politics. And no government, whether it is of the BJP or anti-BJP, will be able to take a decision unless there is a national consensus built on it, which is just impossible.
So the reservation will always be there and merit will always face the brunt.
Absolutely. That is the position, that is the realistic position we have to assume. I
And that
couldn't
is
get into
unfortunate,
law.
isn't it,
I
sir?
could not.
It is unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. You see, I wanted to be a lawyer. In fact, I was so much, in fact, admired in the lawyer, in the community of legal profession. But I could not get into law college because of the reservation. My own life.
And there are several such examples where, people with 1 or 2 marks or 10 marks are getting seats where the person scoring 60, 70 is not able to get through. So who addresses the concerns of these people? What about social justice for them?
You see, when I was seeking admission, there was not even examination. Only my caste name was seen, and I was rejected.
There you.
At least now there is some examination in which there is cut-off marks and things like that.
So
In those days, there was nothing.
you're right, Mr. Gurumurthy. So people who are, kind of hopeful that if they come together, if they say the right things, uh, the government or, the powers that be could look at their demand. But you are saying no political party or no government can afford to do that. What is your advice to the people who want a revision of the reservation? What would you tell them, the roadmap that they should follow?
See, the only practical way that is now opening up is the upper crust of those who have reservation. They should not have reservation. There appears to be a consensus on that. A committee is working on it. And the Supreme Court is also seized of the matter. That if that number, which is being seized by the upper crest, if that goes, maybe there will be a greater social justice operating between the reservation groups and the common groups. And that is the only practical way, what they call as the creamy layer. We have to pursue the creamy layer theory and put it into practice and ensure those who have benefited by reservation in the last 50, 60 years, that particular strata is denied. Then it will work more fairly.
My final question to you, sir, then would it be wrong to say that netas, and I'm not taking names, all netas, all political parties, current, previous, uh, aspiring, budding, all of them, they push quota in name of social justice, but essentially they are securing votes. Would that be a wrong assessment?
You see, there are two ways of looking at it. You see, if you look at the historical burden, you cannot say reservation is completely wrong. But how much reservation, to whom reservation should be, this proactiveness in a diverse society like in India cannot be avoided in politics. But when it becomes a political competition and for votes, then this discrimination goes. That is, discriminating thinking goes. So I think it is going to take some time for the ecosystem to emerge where there will be reservation.
Yeah,
but
no
the
one is saying
reservation-
you remove reservations completely. Give it to those who deserve it. Even if the
that's what
person
I'm
is
saying.
from the general category, so to say, give him the reservation.
That is true. You have to give a reservation. Of course, that 10% reservation for meritorious students, that except in some states, most states have adopted it. But I am saying more. Those who have got the benefit of reservation, the creamy layer should be removed so that the reservation itself leads to reduction in reservation.
I just hope, sir, people in the government and outside who admire you are listening to your words carefully, because every time anyone even tries to talk about reservation or, tries to say that let's at least look at it, rationalize it, etc., they are being painted as, anti-social welfare, etc., etc. You know what the tags which are thrown at us. I'm sure this conversation will also be picked up, and both of us will be labeled as something. But you always speak your mind, Mr. Gurumurthy. Thank you once again. Thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.